The truth about diamond pricing. Many sources, including our own site, give all the gemological information anyone could want when doing diamond research. But this video and its companion, size versus weight, are the first to explain how the present pricing system of diamonds penalizes the consumer. The video conclusively answers the question which may have brought you here, which was, how can the cost of two identically GIA certified diamonds from any one vendor's list, let alone between lists, vary by 20%? Any consumer's logical conclusion would have to be, if these stones are really the same, I'll build a spreadsheet and find the least expensive. So many smart people mistakenly do what in our industry is called buying the certificate, instead of comparing several actual diamonds side by side with their own eyes. The problem is, the grades on certificates, while correct in gemological terms, are very far from being tight enough for financial comparison. This means, more often than not, buying the certificate has two major negative consequences. One, you get a diamond you would not have bought if you'd seen this video before buying, and two, you spend way too much money for it. How much too much? As you'll see later, many thousands, which is what this video is all about. Let's start with how experts in the business determine a diamond's price. Nature produces both clarity and color in a very broad range. We've exaggerated the differences for these charts to make the point clear. But the important word will always be range. The problem the GIA faced in 1953, when they invented the current grading system, was, and still is, where to draw the line to mark the change in the naming of a grade. This is exactly why there's a pricing problem. The GIA had to choose, so they determined that almost all diamonds sold for rings would fall into these 7 broad grades of clarity and color. As you can see, each grade changes the price by about 15%. And since we're talking serious money, a consumer must be able to see a meaningful distinction in quality between grades, as well as we will show you within each grade. But even the best certificates can't provide the consumer with these distinctions, as nature's range doesn't line up into these nicely defined categories. The lines are man-made, they are artificial. So some stones in any grade are almost into the next grade up, and of course, some nearly into the next grade down. As we will show you, many are right on the line between two grades, providing a huge financial pitfall even for savvy consumers. To show you those financial effects, we came up with these charts, which narrow our focus. The good and bad labels don't exist on any real certificate, but they will show you exactly how diamond experts instinctively subgrade each existing grade when we're deciding how much a diamond is really worth. As you can see, there's about a 10% price difference within each grade, and that's for both clarity and color, between the good and the bad within each grade. There are obviously, therefore, dozens of possible combinations of price, that bad clarity with good color, average clarity with bad color, you name it. So any diamond within these grades, even when honestly priced, can vary 5 to 20%. But if you buy the certificate in an attempt to get the best price, the likelihood that you'll get a stone at the bad end of both clarity and color is almost certain, as we'll show you later. There is no free lunch. The stone might cost 20% less, but as I said earlier, it'll be a stone you wouldn't have bought had you seen this video before buying, and you'll pay too much for it. Let's show you why in our film, which focuses on clarity. We've done that because although color has exactly the same variations within each grade as clarity, it's impossible to show them on a screen. We will show you a good VS2, compare it with a bad VS2, and then compare that bad VS2 with a good SI1. All the stones we filmed are G-color. All 3 diamonds in this clip have a GIA cut grade of excellent, which maximizes their brilliance. If you were looking at the actual stones, they'd look identical to the image you're watching. Fabulous. This is the GIA certificate for the good VS2. Note the group of 3 tiny marks at 12 o'clock, as we'll now show you their significance in the grading. The only reason this stone isn't a VS1 is that group of 3 imperfections which are reflecting in the surrounding facets. Under magnification, at certain angles, this makes 3 marks look like 7. This is the GIA certificate for the bad VS2. In addition to having more marks around the edges, it has far more serious inclusions in the center, which is called the table. Here are the side-by-side charts of both VS2s. This shows the huge range in a grade I talked about earlier. Let's zoom into the bad VS2 and then compare both VS2s side by side, just as we at Stuart Moore do with real diamonds every time we sell one. We would certainly discount this bad VS2 according to where it sits within its grade. But some sites might price all stones of the same grade, good or bad, at the same price. Others might discount the bad stones experts won't buy. This entices consumers into buying a stone at the bottom of a grade, believing they're getting a great deal for a stone at the top end of that grade. Not so. Either way, the consumer loses. Let's show you why. This is the GIA certificate for a good SI1, a full grade down and a lot less expensive. Note this stone has a similar cluster of imperfections in the table to the bad VS2. In fact, both stones are right on the man-made line between VS2 and SI1. Let's now zoom into that SI1. It's a very nice SI1, remarkably similar to the bad VS2. So for the bottom line, money point of view, let's compare these 2 stones, a VS2 and an SI1, side by side. Pretty much the same gemologically, wouldn't you say? But the difference in cost is incredible. A 1-carat VS2 would be $1,000 to $1,500 more than an SI1. A 2-carat would be between $5,000 and $7,000 more, and a 3-carat a crazy $20,000 to $35,000 more. Okay, perhaps the good VS2 and the good SI1 we've shown are worth that difference, but no diamond expert would pay a significant difference for the bad VS2 than for the good SI1. But that is more often than not what a consumer gets when they buy the certificate. So, with the crazy range of possible combinations of clarity and color grading, we think the important question a consumer must ask is, if I'm looking at a diamond, how would I know if I'm getting what I think I'm paying for? That's a really great question, and to help you answer it, here's a little backstory on how the diamond business works at the supply end. Diamond cutters, of course, understand everything we've just described, and we assume, keep it in mind, when deciding how to sell their stones. They sell to 2 markets. First, they sell to professional dealers like us. All such buyers are experts, so every stone is examined under magnification before a dollar is parted with. And the only way that cutter will make a sale to that broker on a stone at the bad end of any grade is to discount it. Second, they supply lists of certified stones available to the public on internet sites. Note, not the stones themselves, lists of stones. Now, for a minute, imagine you are a diamond cutter instead of a potential diamond buyer. You have hundreds of certified stones, some at the top end of each grade, some at the bottom. And you are unknown to the end user, the consumer. Ask yourself which part of your stones you might just keep in your office to show your experienced repeat customers who will personally examine each stone. Then ask yourself which half you'll list on other people's internet sites to be sold to an inexperienced, one-time consumer who cannot examine the stone itself before buying. Now go back to being the buyer. Ask yourself another question. How are the stones I see listed priced online? The answer is all over the place, but there's no way to know from the certificate which is which. What to do? First, recognize that it's not necessary to buy sight unseen to get the best price and the right stone. Whether you prefer to compare with your own eyes or to buy online, you'll get the best of all worlds at Stuart Moore. We sell diamonds online and in beautiful bricks and mortar galleries at prices to match the best in the business. In store or online, our diamond specialist will personally examine several stones, not just the certificates, side by side, brought in especially for you. As brokers, not owners, our priority is to make you a happy, repeat customer by steering you to the right stone at the right price. You may be sure we'll recommend the stone we'd buy if it were our money being spent. Second, now we've answered the 20% pricing question and you understand the financial part of diamonds, remember to also be a romantic. This purchase is an event, one of the most emotionally important in your and your fiancé's life. It is as much about her perfect ring design and the workmanship as about the diamond. As long as the diamond price is no different, most couples prefer to try on rings in happy surroundings. At Stuart Moore, the price is identical, online or in store, and we have a fabulous range of rings, most of which are exclusive to our own galleries. Finally, the comfort factor. We have been in the diamond and designer jewelry business for 50 years. With my son Andrew taking over the reins, we intend being around for at least another 50. You will always know where to come if you have a problem for super prices, straight dealing, and great old-fashioned service. Thank you.